What's up, Miami Dolphins fans? Welcome into Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend and is ready to talk some Dolphins football because there is a lot to discuss around this football team. I feel like I say that every week, but I really do mean that. With Jonnu Smith trade rumors, Jalen Ramsey still technically on the Dolphins roster, OTAs in Miami continue on. We have a lot to discuss, and it's going to be a very fun live show, so I appreciate every single person tapping in and joining us here today. As always, I want to get today's show by shouting out the real ones down in the comment section. Let me know where the people are watching from. Shout out your city for me. I see some legends like Lord Buddy Bear, Axum, Landon Moss, XI, Dolphins Uncensored. Oh, Dolphins Uncensored says I can't be the only one that thinks the host of this show is terrible. Well, thanks, Dolphin Uncensored, for being subscribed and watching this show. It means a lot. It means a lot. Shout out to everybody in the chat hanging out. BZM's in Dallas. Tyson's in Lawrenceville, Georgia. AH is in Miami. So is London. Raymond's in North Carolina. April is in Miami. Dolphins fans in, I don't know where that is. Weewa? I have no clue. You know, I'm not a smart person. I never try to claim to be one. What's up, Tim? Good to see you. Dave is in Ontario, Canada. Tim's always in the enemy territory. He's always watching from Foxborough, Massachusetts. That's where the New England Patriots are. Stewart's in Glasgow. Skin Dog's in Sarasota, Florida. My guy, Jonathan Soto, is in Melbourne, Florida. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was on vacation this past weekend with my girlfriend in Virginia, but I feel like I have been away from Dolphins fans talking Dolphins football for a long time. I don't know what it is. I mean, nothing changed. It's just a every weekly live show. But I don't know. I feel like I have been hanging out with you guys in a while, so I'm happy to be here today. AHM, appreciate you. Listen, we don't pay attention to haters. You know what? One thing you have to be in the line of this business, you have to have thick skin. Listen, you could all think I stink. But guess what? As long as the paychecks are still coming in and I'm still employed, I'm still going to be here making some money. So we're going to have fun. I'm going to give you my thoughts. That's what I'm going to say. That's all I'll say. What's up, XI in Northern New York? BZM, listen, I don't claim to think I'm the best. I try to be as entertaining as possible, provide some analysis. Try to do it all, man. Try to do it all. Appreciate all the supporters. Appreciate all the haters because you can't improve without a little bit of hate, right? Come on. Can't do that. Can't stay stagnant. Got to be ready to improve. And that's unfortunately something Miami hasn't been able to do. They haven't been able to improve. They haven't been able to get that monkey off their back, win a playoff game in 25 plus years. So hopefully they're able to do that sooner rather than later. That's all I know. Well, we're going to be talking a lot about trade rumors in this episode of Dolphins Today, whether it's Jonnu Smith, whether it's Jalen Ramsey, whether it's Tyreek Hill. And obviously one of the most pressing questions is, will the Dolphins ultimately trade Jonnu Smith? Last Thursday, Adam Schefter had the bombshell of a report. I would consider it a bombshell that Jonnu Smith wants a reworked contract. That doesn't surprise me. He had a franchise record season with receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns for a tight end in Miami. He's getting paid $4.8 million this year. That's not a lot. Probably wants either more guaranteed money, wants a little bit more of a base, wants just more money in general, maybe an extension. And the Dolphins just are like, well, okay, if you want that, we'll trade you. Like, what? That's at least what it sounds like. Jonnu wants him to be in Miami or wants to be in Miami. Mike McDaniel, we'll talk about what he said, but it sounds like he wants to be in wants Jonnu to be in Miami. So hopefully he stays and we see keep, but let me know. Let me know your predictions. Will the Dolphins trade Jonnu Smith? Type T for trade, type K for keep. It's also the pinned comment on our live chat. You see the poll there. 69%, very nice, say the Dolphins will keep Jonnu Smith. Carter, oh yeah, I know. Carter, it's funny. We got my guy Lopez with us today producing the live show. And we're filming that video, and right as we're done filming, he goes, did you know you said N'Keal Alexander-Walker instead of Nick Westbrook-Akini? And I was like, no, in fact, I did not. Did I actually do that? I listened back, and, well, yeah, listen, a little behind the curtain. We filmed those Dolphins videos on the same day as we filmed like 3 Heat videos, and I just had NBA on the brain, I think. And not often do you see like Nikhil, and then a hyphenated last name. Like it's too similar for me. Nah, no excuses. I just had a little mental mishap there. Little mental mishap. Tim asked why no interest in Brandon Sheriff. I don't really know. I would sign him. I think offensive line depth is another really big key for the Fins. Obviously, the headlines will be cornerback, maybe even a little bit of a safety. But interior offensive line depth is absolutely something Miami needs. And I would argue an offensive tackle would be solid as well because, God forbid, an injury occurs to Austin Jackson or Patrick Paul. Are we really trusting Larry Borum? I don't know. I don't know. So that certainly is something I'm intrigued on. I'm intrigued with. All right, I have another question that has to do with the trade here. Are you guys shocked Jalen Ramsey is still here? Listen, we're live on Tuesday, June 3rd. It's 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. I am. I said it on videos. It sounded based off Jalen Ramsey tweeting 5... what some other people said about waiting until June 1st to start the negotiations. It felt like, in my opinion, a trade would have been done in the first 48 hours of it being allowed with the post-June 1st designation and the saving of the money. But here we are. We're about to cross the 48-hour mark relatively soon, and he's still on the roster. I don't think it means that he is going to stay. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. The Dolphins seem to be moving on, and Ramsey seems to be moving on due to that relationship just coming to a halt, unfortunately. But, man, I am shocked that a trade hasn't happened yet. We'll see if it goes down this week. Maybe it extends out a little further. Hopefully, and this is how I want it to go, I want it to be done. I just want it to be over so the Miami Dolphins now know what their cap is. Granted, they already do know if they're trading, but they'll actually get the cap savings. It will be official. So then maybe they could go out and sign a corner. Like right now, it's been reported, right? And we'll just talk about this briefly, that they offered Rasul Douglas a contract and he declined because he didn't think it was enough money. Well, if you get the extra $9.9 million in cap relief by trading Jalen Ramsey, well, maybe you up your offer to Rasul Douglas by $1 million and he signs right away, right? Like that could be a reason, and that's being held up. You can also say the Jonnu Smith stuff. Like if Jonnu wants $1 or $2 more million, and the Dolphins are like, well, we got to wait until the Jalen Ramsey trade's official to get that money to give you. So like that's what I mean. Like you get the Ramsey trade done. I want it to be done. You get the $9.9 million in cap relief. You know that you have about $24 million available, and then you can go out and sign a corner. Give Jonnu maybe a little bit more money. So to me, you need to get this trade done so you could proceed a little bit here in the offseason. It's not required. You could still give Jonnu some money and sign Rasul Douglas because you still got $13 million in cap right now. But like you get 24, and now we're talking that we can really get things moving here. So I want the trade to be done. I want it to be done. Oh, XI, have a good one, my friend. Peace out. Hopefully you have a good night. Sammy says, Nick, you're right on with your videos. Hey, I appreciate that, Sammy. Listen, I'm not going to shoot 100%. I was wrong on Chop Robinson. I gave that grade on draft night a C+. I later upgraded it to a B-. But I wasn't the biggest fan of the Chop Robinson pick because I wanted them to go with Graham Barton, the interior offensive lineman from Duke. And obviously, I'd rather have Chop at this point. Like, yeah, Graham would be very helpful and would have been awesome last year for us, but Chop looks like a budding top 10 edge rusher, borderline top 5, a franchise leading guy. So I'm very happy that they ultimately went with Chop Robinson. I'm never going to claim to be right. I'm never going to be claimed to be shooting 100%, but I hope you guys know that we give it our all. We do a lot of work behind the scenes here other than just come up and blab. So, yeah, man, a lot of fun. We did get a $5 super chat from Jonathan Soda. We'll get that on screen, and then we will proceed with our show and get into the first segment, which goes with a lot of news from OTAs. Mike McDaniel spoke as well. What my friends are texting me like something crazy just happened. What's happened? Oh, never mind. Just for me personally. Nothing with the sports world. They're just me personally. So, show no Jalen Ramsey trade right now. Do you know how to add the background on that? Okay. Tim says, any word on the street of possible corner vets going to be cut this summer? From other teams, I have not seen any at that point, but I think we'd have to wait until July or August. But there should be a couple veteran cuts for Miami. Maybe just one, Jake Bailey. I don't understand why Jake Bailey is actually still on the roster, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I wanted to move off of Jake Bailey for a while now. I've been very open about that. They signed Ryan Stonehouse in free agency. Like, why are you keeping Jake? $1.9 million could be added to your cap savings if you just got rid of Jake Bailey right now. Like, Ryan Stonehouse is going to be your punter. Your new special teams coordinator, Craig Ackerman, worked with Ryan Stonehouse in Tennessee together. So he clearly is going to want Stonehouse as his guy. So it's like, I don't know why we're just keeping Bailey around. Cut him, save a roster spot, and create $1.9 million in cap, man. I don't get it. Have you figured it out? Okay. Yeah, it's like the BG no corner. Like, I think that might be it. We'll see. Tim says, what was Ethan Bonner's injury last year? His injury wasn't good. He made the roster, but he was never hurt. He got concussed in, there you go. He got concussed in, I believe it was preseason, but he didn't get hurt during the season. He just never was active. All right, $5 super chat from John DeSoto. If you want to get on the show, super chat gets you on there. Soto says, I'm convinced that the Ramsey trade rumor is to steer people away from the Tyreek drama. Well, Jonathan, I wish that was the actual case. I wish that this Dolphins front office was that smart enough to do something like that. But no, he's probably going to get traded. But, Jonathan, I appreciate the $5 super chat, as always. I remember when you were my co-GM in that nice little mock draft we did here around the company. We took Will Johnson at 13. We took Darius Alexander, I believe, at 60. No, we took Donovan Jackson at 60. 48. That was our second round pick before we traded up. And then we took in the hundreds Darius Alexander. I think it was Darius Alexander. I can't remember. Either way, appreciate that. We bombed it. We were awesome. All right, we had over 103 people watching. I want to get the show started here. But we have to get the like numbers up. Only 35 likes. That's crazy. You have to get the show started. Like the video. Let's get to 55 likes before we get the show started. That's only 19 away right now. I think that can happen. Help me out. Hit the like button. We'll get today's show started. Live here completely for free, putting out daily content for free. When we get to 55, we're going to start today's show because we have a lot to talk about. It's going to be a fun one. Coming up live, we got big news from OTAs. Mike McDaniel spoke about Jonnu Smith. I'll give a little look in on the OTA session. We have Tyreek Hill for DJ Moore. We have OTA winners and losers from both weeks. And why I think Tua is more important to the Miami Dolphins than fans actually realize. I know some people don't like Tua. Most of the fan base is split. I understand that. I'm going to try to explain from a positive lens why he should want to be kept and why he's important. So that will be the final segment on today's show. But we're going to get into the news from OTAs here once we get to 55 likes. We're at 54. Who's going to be that person to hit the like button to get the show started? Who's going to be that 55th? Who's going to be that 55th like? Come on. Who's going to get me one? Who's going to get me there? Who's going to get us there? There we go. I don't know who did, but we got the 55 likes. So appreciate everybody who's hit that thumbs up icon. And Lopez, when you are ready, let's get the first segment on today's live show underway, which is big time news from Dolphins OTA. Yeah, let's do it. I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports, and we have a lot of news to discuss. Dolphins OTAs are currently happening. We only have one more day left on Thursday with a day off on Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday was the first two practices of week 2, and there's major news to discuss. On injury front, on potentially having a trade front, and ultimately just how players performed at OTAs on Tuesday when Dolphins media was actually in attendance. The first piece of news is on Jonnu Smith, who is hot on the trade market right now. Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, the two players likely to be traded if they are traded. Well, maybe Jonnu won't, because Mike McDaniel, who spoke to Dolphins reporters and media members before OTA practice on Tuesday afternoon, spoke very highly of Jonnu Smith and how he actually hopes that Jonnu is still on the roster. We'll show what McDaniel said, but I have to stop with the disrespect here, because Texans Today host Jeremy Chuggs said that we couldn't get 400 likes on today's show. Help me out. Prove him wrong. Texans stink. We're going to take their playoff spot, hopefully, this upcoming year. Hit that thumbs up icon. Tells our bosses in YouTube that we're doing a good job. It also tells Jeremy Chuggs to go stick it where the sun don't shine. All right, let's get to David Furones, who had the initial quote here from Mike McDaniel, saying that Jonnu Smith, despite the trade speculation and the rumors, has been around during offseason workouts, and that could not make me happier, because I think when you start to see things really go ugly and point towards a trade inevitably happening, a la Jalen Ramsey, you will hear that the player, the front office no longer speak. You'll hear that the player is no longer in the building, no longer communicates with the coaching staff, because that tells you, well, yeah, both sides have completely cut ties and it's over. Well, that's what's happened with Jalen Ramsey. Like, he will be traded. But Jonnu Smith still being in contact with the coaching staff, the nutritionist in the building, just being in the locker room in general, tells me that there is a high possibility, or at least a slight chance, that Jonnu and Miami ultimately work this out. And it's clear that Mike McDaniel wants him to be in Miami. When asked about Jonnu, on if he predicts him to be on the team, if he wants him on the team, either way, Mike McDaniel says, I want Jonnu on the team. I want him to be here. In my experience in the business, you let that play out. So, yeah, Mike McDaniel is not partake in contract negotiations or trade discussions like Chris Greer and some of these other front office personnel members are. But this is Mike McDaniel, although he's probably already let Chris Greer know this, say in the media, say in the public light, I want him. So to me, that's telling Chris Greer, can you find a way to just pay him a couple more $1 million? Like, I also think he will be here. I think the Dolphins will ultimately keep Jonnu Smith. And in the moment on Thursday, if you go back and watch my reaction to Jonnu Smith allegedly being on the trade block, which it sounds like he is, I was very critical of the Miami Dolphins. I was just like, I get you don't want to extend a player that's entering 30 years old, had the best season of his career this late in his career. I understand not wanting to get married to a player that's a lot older. But he was just such a seamless and perfect fit in the Mike McDaniel offense. You got to keep good players. And could you not just bump him up $1-2 million this year? I don't think he's asking to break the bank. He just wants to make more than $4.8 million because his play is closer to a guy making, or should make, $8-10 million. So to me, I think Mike McDaniel wants Jonnu to be here. It's obvious that Jonnu also wants to be here based off what he said to the media via Adam Schefter, Drew Rosenhaus. His agent said on his weekly hit in the South Florida TV network. I think Jonnu wants to be here. I think that's obvious. Mike McDaniel wants him here, and I'm going to predict that he ultimately does play for the Dolphins in 2025. But let me get your predictions down in the comment section. It's a pinned comment. Will the Dolphins trade Jonnu Smith? Type T if you think they trade him. Type K if you think they keep them. I'm typing my Ks. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's move over to another piece of news. Austin Jackson, he looks good. And we haven't talked about Austin Jackson a lot this offseason. The right tackle for the Dolphins, who had his season cut short last year with that shoulder injury that cost him half of the season, has battled through injuries a lot. Well, we just haven't heard if he's going to be ready, although it was highly anticipated he would be ready for training camp and for the preseason and for the regular season. Well, we could put all of those quiet speculations to rest, because reporters asked McDaniel about Jackson and if he's going to be ready for training camp, and Mike responded in a very nice way. If there's a more ready version of Austin Jackson, I'm super excited to see it. What does that tell you? He's going to be fully ready for training camp, preseason, and hopefully, barring another injury, we'll be ready to go week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts. And if I'll be honest, I didn't have any doubts about that. Whenever we've talked about the offensive line this offseason, there hasn't been any part of me that believes there was a world where Austin Jackson wasn't ready to go week 1 because of the injury he suffered last year. And he is going to be relied upon extremely, extremely big time this year. When you think about what Miami has on the offensive line, like, I think it's a better group than last year because you upgraded at left guard and right guard from Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg to James Daniels and Jonah Savi-Inaya. You brought back Aaron Brewer. I know you downgraded from Teron Armstead to Patrick Paul, but I'm bullish on the second-year player from Houston. But when you think about who's been on this team the longest, who's the most accomplished offensive lineman on this group, it is Austin Jackson. So he's going to have to be the leader of that O-line. He's been here the longest. He's done what he's done at the highest level longer than anyone else because you got a first-time full-year starter, second-year guy in the program, Aaron Brewer, rookie Jonah Savi-Inaya. Like, he's the leader of this group. It went from Teron Armstead, now it's Austin Jackson. He's got to lead these guys. And based off what I've seen since he's become the full-time right tackle at Miami, I think he's ready for the job. I think he is. Obviously, he missed out in half the season in 2024, but his 2023 campaign, which earned him that 3-year, $30 million plus extension, was pretty good. Yeah, the penalties are a little up, but he is important for more reasons than the ones we just mentioned, right? Why is that? Tua's a lefty quarterback, which means he has to protect Tua's blind side because Tua's blind side is on that right side where Savi-Inaya, where Austin Jackson project to be. So those right tackle and right guards mean a whole lot more than the left tackles and left guards in the Dolphins scheme and system because of Tua. So Austin Jackson needs to be ready to go. He needs to have a big year, and I hope he will, and I believe he will. Just need him to stay healthy. He'll be fully ready to go this year, week 1, which is good, and they're going to need him. Big year for AJ coming, hopefully. 2 more pieces of news to discuss here, but make sure you do subscribe for more off-season videos. We got weekly live shows on Tuesdays, and when Jalen Ramsey or Jonnu Smith will potentially get traded, Jalen for sure will, we will be going live on the channel. So join us today. Subscribe. Don't miss a piece of Miami Dolphins news. We got to talk about more Chop Robinson propaganda. He just continues to dominate, man. He is on a trajectory that only Dolphins fans could have dreamed of when we took him at the 21st overall pick in 2024. Because on Tuesday's practice, he was donning the orange jersey. Can't really tell by the social, but the Dolphins Twitter handle put out a video of Chop Robinson in orange jersey and said, chopping it up today. We talk about the orange jersey quite a bit here in the offseason because it showcases who had the top practice in the coaching staff's eye the day before. So Chop Robinson was the top performer on Monday's practice in the coaching staff's eye. And he was able to pick the playlist and be highlighted. But he just continues to dominate. Travis Wingfield, who was there watching the entire Tuesday practice for Miami, said that Chop had a sack and another pressure that forced a check down. He racked up pressures, hurry late in the day, relentless nature that kind of defies physics. Even if he gets hit to the ground, he could spring to his feet and stay in pursuit. This kid's special. He is. I cannot wait to see year 2 of Chop Robinson. He had such an unbelievable second half of the year where he was top 5 in the entire NFL from weeks 8 to week 18 in pass rush win rate, pressures. He just dominated, man. And when you factor in the fact he has dominated in week 2 of OTAs, he dominated in week 1, I think we're in for an unbelievable Chop Robinson second year. I really, really do. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I am. Based off Chop Robinson's rookie year, what he's done early in this offseason program of week 1 and week 2 of OTAs, we're looking at potentially another franchise edge rusher that the Dolphins have on their hands. Cameron Wake, Jason Taylor. I am not afraid to say that Chop Robinson may be on that projection based off what he did his rookie season, just dominating in the second half of the year. Top 5 pass rush win rate, top 5 in pressures. You pair him up now with the veterans Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb returning from injuries that basically didn't play last year. He's going to get a lot of one-on-one looks. Chop is going to be a top 10, top 15 pass rusher in 2025 and might blossom into a franchise defensive lineman. For the comments of today's video, 50 off. Sizes are running out, usually $75, right now $32. You just simply won't find another deal out there. They've got other great deals. If you click on that link too, by the way, chatsports.com/Dolphin sale, grab yours today before they run out. All right, final piece of news I want to discuss. UDFA making a name for himself this week in OTAs. We haven't heard a lot of buzz about some of these rookies in OTAs just standing out and flashing, unfortunately. But we did hear Eugene Asante, the UDFA linebacker from Auburn, spent 3 years for the Tigers. Previous 3 years was at North Carolina. He intercepted his fellow rookie quarterback, Quinn Ewers. It was off a tipped ball. He made the play over the middle of the field. But this is why, in a player that I've talked about that could be a 53-man roster candidate from this UDFA class. And I like some of these UDFAs. Eugene Asante is certainly one of them. We've often talked about his speed. He ran a 4.48 40-yard dash at his pro day. And he has had an extensive special teams history. Played, I think, over 500 snaps in his career on special teams at North Carolina and Auburn. I think this is a legit roster candidate because when you think of what the Dolphins have at linebacker, they have their 4 guys set at the top. Jordan Brooks, Tyrell Dodson, Willie Gay Jr., and then KJ Britt. They kept 5 linebackers last year with Channing Tindall. Will they do it again? If they do 5 linebackers on the 53-man again, I'll tell you this right now, I'd rather take Eugene Asante over Channing Tindall. I would. Channing's been on this team after being a 3rd-round pick for 4 years now. This will be his year number 4. Just hasn't been good. He hasn't. And we know what we have in Channing Tindall. Why not keep a UDFA who could give you the same exact production on special teams and has that LB5 this upcoming year? Don't know what you got in him. So Eugene Asante, something early here with him that I want the Dolphins fans to keep an eye on. All right, a couple last notes to wrap up today's show here. Zach Wilson had a pretty good day on Tuesday. Threw an interception early. Iafatu Melifanu got him on the back end, but there was a lot of praise about him being able to fit some tough balls in the very tight windows. Jalen Wright had a 70-yard rushing touchdown. I know there's no tackling, but that's what was said. And then A.J. Henning, UDFA wide receiver, Northwestern. He had a pretty good day as well. Blended speed and route running was something on display according to some beat reporters there. So just another couple notes here to keep your eye on. Nothing I'm going to talk about extensively, but wanted to show the Dolphins fans some other news. That'll do it for today's show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you have not already, hit that thumbs up icon. Completely free content here at Dolphins Today. If you don't want to subscribe, at least help us out by hitting the like button. Really does tell YouTube we're doing a good job, my bosses. And remember, I want to take down Jeremy Chuggs and Texans Today. They were talking too much nonsense, so help me out. All right, first segment in the books. Still over 110 people watching. Appreciate all of y'all. 79 people have liked the video. So if you have not hit the like button on the stream yet, please help me there. Goal is to get to 100 likes before we sign off today. So we're 21 away. Help me out. But I want to revisit this question real quick. Will the Dolphins trade Jonnu Smith? Type T for trade or type K for keep. Let me know your thoughts. I see a lot of keeps. Harrison saying keep. Timothy says keep. Robert says keep. Sharkbite says keep. Our live poll is this same question, and 75% of the people are saying the Dolphins are going to keep Jonnu. I hope that's the case, man. G-Law's saying trade, though. I hope they keep him. I want him to stay. I want him to stay. Commandy says like number 80. Shout out to you, my friend. John Morris says keep. Elwood says maybe the trade deadline. Yeah, I guess we'd have to be like tanking at that point. Not tanking, but like giving up on the year at that point. Maybe. Maybe. All right. 30 minutes into the live show. It's time to get into segment number 2. This one will be about Tyreek Hill, a crazy trade idea that sends Tyreek to Chicago in return for DJ Moore. It's an interesting one. You know what? Let's talk about it. We have an absolute wild trade idea to discuss on today's show. Mike Florio, aka Pro Football Talk of NBC Sports, floated out an idea for Tyreek Hill to be traded to the Chicago Bears and the Miami Dolphins get DJ Moore in return. And my good friend and colleague Harrison Graham of Chicago Bears Now made a whole entire video about this trade idea. And I quote tweeted it. I said, would y'all trade Tyreek Hill for DJ Moore? And a couple people replied and were a little skeptical of the idea. But this is why you ultimately follow me on Twitter, by the way, at Nic_Rohloff, because I'll throw out trade ideas. I'll talk Dolphins football. And if any trade happens, whether it be Tyreek Hill or a different player, we'll have you covered over on Twitter. So go give me a follow at Nic_Rohloff. But if you've been around the channel all offseason long, you would know I'm cool trading Tyreek Hill. And if you're just joining us for the first time, I'll go through this video and tell you why I'm fine trading Tyreek Hill. But this specific idea is one that is very fascinating because most of our trade talks with Tyreek has always been, all right, what pick could we get back for him? Is it worth it in the cap savings for Miami? But we've never talked about getting a wide receiver that not even is just any wide receiver, but on the level of DJ Moore, because this is a top 15, top 20 wide receiver in football. Is Tyreek Hill better? Yes, and we'll show some statistics here in a second. But DJ Moore is probably just at the head of Jalen Waddle in terms of wide receivers in the NFL. So I would be very intrigued with getting him in return. So what Mike Florio actually had to say and why he thinks it could be a possibility, saying that the Bears would be an intriguing option for Tyreek Hill, especially with former Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy on the coaching staff. But they're currently loaded at wide receiver. It wouldn't work financially or roster-wise unless they sent DJ Moore to Miami as a part of the trade. And I'll be honest, as I mentioned, we've never talked about trading Tyreek and getting a wide receiver in return. Well, I would be intrigued with bringing DJ Moore in to the Dolphins locker room. We'll start with the financial aspect of it. We know the Dolphins save $15 million in cap space if they trade Tyreek Hill post-June 1st. They also save $36 million on their 2026 cap book by trading Tyreek Hill post-June 1st. But with the Bears, they save $20.9 million in cap savings and only have $4 million in dead money. So they get some cap relief, and they would need it to acquire Tyreek Hill because a new team would still have to pay Tyreek, I think it's about $24 million in their own right. So they would need to save the money. And when you look at it from Miami's perspective, yeah, the Bears saved $20.9 million in cap savings, but that would also be what Miami would have to take on for this upcoming year. I was talking with Harrison Graham. He said a new team would have to take on a $20.9 million cap hit. So if you're doing bookkeeping at home, you trade Tyreek Hill to Chicago, you save $15.5 million, but you would take on an extra $5 million, 5.4 to be exact, if you actually did swap Tyreek Hill for DJ Moore. Now, Miami could handle that financially because they do have $13 million in cap space right now and would have $24 million when they inevitably trade Jalen Ramsey, or if you're watching this and they already did in between, well, who knows what happened there. But either way, you do have the cap space to make it happen this season, and it's really not that bad of an idea to do it long-term either. I'll explain why later on. But quickly, let me know your thoughts. Make the call. Would you trade Tyreek Hill for DJ Moore? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'll go through this video and give my final thoughts and conclusion here in a bit, but let me know yours down in the comment section right now. It's certainly an idea that I'm not shying away from. I'm not. And I won't try to sugarcoat it. Like, Tyreek Hill is absolutely the better receiver out of these two. And I'll look at the last 2 years and their comparison because that's ever since DJ joined the Chicago Bears and got traded from the Carolina Panthers. Tyreek's obviously been in Miami for 3 years. Well, in this 2 years span, Tyreek has played 33 games. DJ Moore's played 34. So DJ's played in all 17 games the last 2 years. Tyreek's missed just one. But you see Tyreek Hill's numbers. Despite playing one less game, has more touchdowns, better yards per catch, 400 more yards, 6 more receptions, and about 15 yards per game more as well. Like, there is no debating it when you look at these two guys. Tyreek Hill is still the better wide receiver. I don't think anyone would ever debate that. The reason why you would try to get rid of Tyreek Hill and pull off this trade is if you don't want to deal with the headache that Tyreek Hill is, the off the field stuff. That's why I think people would do it. And I'll tell you right now, I asked you guys if you would do that trade. I would. And I'm going to go through with 4 reasons why I would do the DJ Moore for Tyreek Hill trade. 1, DJ is less of a headache. And there was a little bit off the field in the locker room, like disappointment, unhappiness this past year, and frustration with rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. Don't think that'd be the case in Miami if DJ Moore was a Dolphin. We know that Tyreek Hill, he's exhausting a lot of the times when it comes to his off the field, whether it's in the locker room, whether it's on social media, whether it's potentially having issues with the police, and we know the assault like rumors that come out sometimes. Like the DJ Moore, that doesn't happen with him. So in terms of bringing me peace of mind with our wide receiver room, DJ Moore would certainly do that for me more than Tyreek Hill does. So that is certainly one reason why I would do it. We've got 3 more coming up here in a second, but I got to show some major love to our sponsor on our show, and that is Prize Picks, the daily fantasy sports platform I play every single day. And while there's only 1 series left in the playoffs and the championship is officially on the line in basketball, that means time is running out for you to put your final takes to the test on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. Not only is basketball in the final series, but so is hockey. You could take points, rebounds, assists, shots on goal, saves, and you could have a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Prize Picks puts their members first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. There's no better way to play Prize Picks. They have also weekly promotions, Flex Friday, Taco Tuesday, just 2 examples of how you can play. I have an entry in for the first game of the final basketball series. And here is my entry here. I'm going more than 5 rebounds, Miles Turner. Less than Tyrese Halliburton, 17.5 points. That's the one I feel most confident in personally. And I'll also go more than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 10.5 free throws attempted. 3-player entry there to win 5 times my money, but you can customize your entry and potentially win up to 2,000 times your cash. Download the app today. Join me, the millions of others, and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, another reason why I would prefer DJ Moore over Tyreek Hill is that, 1, he's younger. Tyreek Hill's 31 years old. DJ Moore's 28. And I don't think Tyreek Hill is going to be terrible this season if he ultimately stays with this roster. I think he's going to be really good still. Like, I don't really foresee him declining so much to where he's not someone you want on the football field every week, right? Even in a down year when Tua missed 6 games, he still was under 50 yards away from having 1,000 yards last season. So, yeah, Tyreek's got some game left in him, but if you're doing a more of a long-term play, DJ Moore would be awesome. You would then have Jalen Waddle and DJ Moore, 2 guys in their mid to just barely late 20s, as your wide receiver duo for 3 years to come. Like, that is pretty enticing if you're looking to build out a well-rounded, young, long-term wide receiver room. So that's obviously an added intrigue for me. Another reason is Tyreek Hill has only 1 year left on his contract, and there's no world where he is on the roster of Miami in 2026. So there's a chance that, hey, we'll just cut bait now, because we've oftentimes talked about Tyreek Hill's contract. This is not his final year of his deal. It is in 2026. But in 2026, Tyreek Hill's contract in his cap hit is $52.8 million. But the Dolphins, not all of that is guaranteed, right? They can save $36 million in cap space if they cut him prior to June 1st. If it's after June 1st, it's like 38. So it's not worth it to just wait until June 1st. Do it for the free agency money, right? So you only have about $15 million in dead cap if you cut him next year, which means he's not going to be on the roster. So would you rather create some cap space in the future and get a 28-year-old wide receiver, arguably in his prime, instead of just letting Tyreek Hill walk? from Miami's side, that makes a lot of sense, right? Like, you'd want to get Tyreek or DJ Moore in return because when the Dolphins inevitably cut Tyreek Hill next year, one of the biggest roster needs is going to be wide receiver 2 because there isn't a stable wide receiver 2 on the roster unless Malik Washington or Nick Westbrook-Ikini take a massive step this year as wide receivers 3 or 4. So that's another added reason. And then the final reason why I would do it is that DJ Moore's contract ain't bad. I actually think it's a really good contract for a player of his caliber. He's got a contract that has him under until 2029. And he signed a 4-year, I think $114 million extension. But even though he's under contract until 2029 and has 5 years left on his deal, he has no guaranteed money in 2027, 2028, or 2029. Which means if you traded for him, he doesn't work out for whatever reason. He just declines. Like, whatever you want to say. Like, he doesn't fit well. He wants out. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. The fact that he doesn't have a big dead cap hit and you could basically just wipe your hands clean after the 2026 season could be very, very beneficial. And another reason why, that lines up with Tua. Because we've talked about Tua's 4-year contract extension. The Dolphins have an out after 2026. So if Tua, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, and you made this trade, this regime doesn't ultimately pan out and you want to move off of Tua after 2026, well, you could just clean slate it. Move off of DJ Moore, move off of Tua, and just build a whole brand new offense with a probably new front office and a new coaching staff as well. So those are the reasons why I would be very much in on a DJ Moore for Tyreek Hill swap. So let me ask you, when we look at Mike Florio's trade idea where Miami gets DJ Moore and then the Chicago Bears get Tyreek Hill, would you do this trade? I said earlier I would. Would you make this trade? Type A for accept. Type D for decline. We asked the question earlier, but after going through why I would do it, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. It's obvious that I would do it. I have not shied away from that whatsoever. But you guys could let me know your thoughts. And the truth is, though, it's not going to happen. Like, this is my favorite thing to do with you guys and hang out. Like, I love talking hypotheticals because, listen, it's a long off season, and we're putting out multiple videos a day. So we're going to talk about any rumor or any idea that comes up here. And I don't want people to think, like, I believe it's going to happen and is spewing fake nonsense. Like, I know, like, I don't think this is going to happen. It's a fun thing to talk about because if it was on the table, I would do it. Maybe Tyreek Hill does get traded. I certainly don't think the Bears are going to be the team to do it. If a team pulled the trigger on Tyreek Hill, I would have Chicago low on the list. Are they ready to compete for a title? No. And if you are trading for Tyreek Hill, probably are a team that is right there at the precipice of trying to win a title. So I don't see Chicago as a potential team. But as I said earlier, if a trade does go down around the Miami Dolphins, I will have the news first on my Twitter at Nic_Rohloff before coming on the show to break it down and go live on the channel. So if you want wall-to-wall 365 coverage on the Fins, at Nic_Rohloff is where you could find it. Go give me a follow today. Whew. Second segment down. Second segment down. Barry B in the building. What's up, Barry? How you doing, my friend? Barry's just saying leaving Miami right now at Shula's Bar and Grill at the airport, waiting to fly back to Phoenix. Barry B, love to see it. Love to see it. I was flying this weekend. I flew back. I went through Charlotte yesterday from Virginia. I was in Roanoke. I was in Cincinnati the week before. I've been a traveling man over the past 2 weeks, but happy to be settled down here for the entire month of June. I'm going to Nashville at the end of June, but I'm gonna be locked in here in Dallas until that point. It's gonna be fun hanging out. Be fun hanging out, man. I think a lot of people are saying yes. Lopez, would you do that? Would you trade Tyreek Hill for DJ Moore? Yeah. Lopez is in. He says, get Tyreek out of here. Lopez is all right by me. It's all right by me. Mark Smith says, how was the trip? Did your ladies' family try to hunt you for sport? No, yeah, I was meeting them for the first time. It was something. No, really nice family, though. Really enjoyed meeting them. Hopefully they felt the same. I think they did. Her dad already does. Not to the Dolphins. I don't think he tunes into these, but he tunes into Heat Report. No. Tunes on the Heat Report. One says, Nick, what would you do if you were in Greer's position? I would try to trade Tyreek. I would. I would have also not wanted to get rid of Jalen Ramsey, but that seems like it's a Jalen versus coaching staff type of thing. So, I don't know. I would do a lot of things different from Chris Greer. Maybe it would work out in my favor. Maybe it wouldn't. But I would do a lot of different things with the Dolphins roster than Chris Greer. That is for sure. Like I said, if I was Chris Greer and I was in his shoes, Chop Robinson wouldn't be a Dolphin right now. It wouldn't be a Dolphin. So put one in the Chris Greer talent mark. But a blind squirrel finds a nut. That's right, Lopez. That's right. All right. With that being said, got still over 100 people watching. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. I'm getting sweaty here in Studio N. It's killing me a little bit here. Tim Trini. I'll tell you what. I don't know what this new community thing is. I think it's like who comments the most. I'm not really sure. There's like a community leaderboard of today's live chat. And right now, Tim's at number 1 with 75 XP. Barry B has 70. A lot of people have 75 XP. I don't understand how you get XP. I don't understand that. I don't. I don't know if it's comments, if it's likes, if it's super chats. I don't know, man. Mixture of all of it. But how does everybody have 75 XP? I feel like that's impossible. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Oh, is this real? Oh, I had the community leaderboard pulled up. I didn't even look at the live chat. Barry B with a $50 super chat. Bang! Barry B, what's up, man? This guy's a legend. Supported us a lot during the football season. Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully you have safe travels back to Arizona, my man Barry B. Said Storm Duck is the man. I called that one. Barry B, you did. Storm Duck right now as the inside track to be wide receiver, cornerback 2 on this roster. Whatever free agent the Dolphins ultimately sign is going to be CB1 probably to replace Jalen Ramsey. But right now, if I had to say who our boundary CB2 is, it's going to be Storm Duck. Cam Smith stinks. I'm sick of Cam Smith. I am sick of Cam Smith. Can't do it, man. It is a great transition into our next segment because we're talking Dolphins OTA winners and losers. And this isn't just from week 1. It's not from just week 2. It's the overall OTAs as we get a week away from mandatory minicamp, which is actually a week from today, June 10th. But shout out to you, Barry B. Shout out to you. Well, Barry B, in the honor of Storm Duck, he will come up in this show. Let's move over to DJ Moore's 28, John Adams. Let's move over to our third segment on the day as we approach the top of the hour. Miami Dolphins winners and losers from OTAs. Let's get into today's show. Miami Dolphins OTAs are in the books. They had 6 practices, 3 last week, 3 this week. And on today's show, we're going to look at the entirety of the OTAs portion. Look at who stood out, who might have taken a step back, and everything in between. So appreciate everybody tuning in. And make sure you are subscribed already if you aren't, because we are going to have you covered with Miami Dolphins OTAs. We're going to have you covered with Miami Dolphins mandatory minicamp that gets started up June 10th and goes through June 12th. 3 days of mandatory minicamp, 10th, 11th, and 12th. We're going to be breaking it down every day. So subscribe, 93 away from 70,300. Help us out and join the channel. All right, the first person we're going to talk about on today's show is Chop Robinson. He is an absolute winner. He is maybe the person I am most excited to watch this season for the Miami Dolphins. And you might ask, why is Chop the winner? Well, let me tell you here. Chop had an orange jersey on Tuesday's practice of week 2, and if you rock an orange jersey, it puts you at the top of my leaderboard in potentially winners. But he was a consistent disruptor in both weeks. In the first OTA practice that media members saw, the biggest takeaway was that Bradley Chubb and Chop Robinson just wreaked havoc in team activities as a duo. You've seen Chop do it in single drills, 7-on-7, 11-on-11 in the OTAs. Like, he just was dominant, man. His blend of athleticism, first step, the bend he has around the corner, and as he just continues to get stronger and smarter at the position, he's going to be dominant. I truly believe he is in line for a massive, massive second season. Where I'm thinking Pro Bowl, and heck, I'll even consider maybe an All-Pro. Like, if you told me Chop was a top 5-7 edge rusher this year, had 12-plus sacks, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, he was on track. If you take his second half of his rookie year and doubled that to a full season, he would have had double-digit sacks and been top 5 in pass rush win rate, top 5 in pressures, the whole 9 yards. Like, he is the lead guy on this edge room. But here's another reason why I think he's going to be super, super impactful this year. Like, Bradley Chubb is returning. He didn't play last year. Jalen Phillips played 3 full games last year, and those 3 games were him returning from an Achilles injury before he tore his ACL. Like, you pair up Chop Robinson with Bradley Chubbs and Jalen Phillips, chef kiss. It's going to be, I think, maybe the best edge trio in football. You know what? I'll say it right now as of filming this live on Tuesday, June 3rd. It's going to be the best edge rush trio in football. I don't care. I'll be wrong about it. I'll make the statement. I just don't see a world where they aren't good. I really don't. They're going to be absolutely awesome. I truly believe that. All right, let's move over to Quinn Ewers here. He is a loser, the rookie 7th-round quarterback. And as much as this hurts me here, because I was high on him, he is. Why he's a loser, you might ask. Couple interceptions over the couple weeks. Not good at all. And he was up and down overall. He just was. He's very inaccurate, missed a lot of throws, and he just did not look good early in the process. Now, am I concerned? I'll tell you more about that here in a second. But I do want to know your thoughts down in the comment section. Are you concerned with Quinn Ewers having a couple interceptions, being very up and down so far? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And right after this YouTube ad break, I'll tell you my thoughts down below. I am not concerned with Quinn Ewers because when the Dolphins drafted him in the 7th round, it was always a developmental pick. And you've got him in the 7th, so it's not like you invested a lot into Quinn Ewers, right? When they drafted him, I didn't shy away from saying this. He needed to clean up his footwork, his decision-making, and all of that will lead to more accurate throws because he is an inaccurate quarterback that maybe holds on to the football a little bit. But I never expected it to be pretty early on. I expected it to be a little bit rough in training camp, be a little rough in the preseason. He's not going to play this year at all unless both Zach Wilson and Tua get hurt, which please don't happen. The truth is this. I'm not panicking. Yeah, is there a chance he never even plays a down of meaningful football for the Miami Dolphins? Yes, there's a high possibility. But I am not going to overreact and panic to OTAs to this point. There are some players I think that deserve a little bit of a panic and overreaction. Quinn Ewers is not one of them. I'm staying fine with him. So, even though he's a loser, not freaking out just yet. Hopefully, he improves. All right, winner, Patrick Paul, the offensive lineman for the Miami Dolphins. Second-year guy, second-round pick in 2024 out of Houston. This one makes me happy. This one brings a smile to my face. We'll start with this little report here because Patrick Paul spoke to reporters this week on Tuesday, and he said that he's down to 320 pounds, and he's looking to stay at that weight heading into the season. If you remember, he was just a massive guy. I think he was closer to 340, maybe 330 coming into his rookie year. He was just a big guy, and that was a concern. Patrick Paul was known as a mauler, someone who, if he gets his hands on you, you're going to go nowhere on him. But the foot speed was a question. But if he's slimming down a little bit and still maintains that good balance in his drop back, his lower body, his core, his base, like he can be absolutely dominant at left tackle. And, well, Mike McDaniel was very complimentary of Patrick Paul, saying that he didn't waste his rookie season. Some defensive players have even been surprised by how he displays and carries himself in group work. Obviously, there's room for improvement. I'm not going to act like he's perfect or anything like that. He's only played 3 games, and it wasn't the prettiest 3 games last year when he played and had 300-plus snaps. But, man, oh, man, I feel pretty good about Patrick Paul. I feel secure about that. As secure as you can feel, right? Like, I'm not going to act like Patrick Paul is going to step in and be a top 10 left tackle in all football. But I feel like he'll be competent. And that's all you need from a player as young as him. And then he'll just get better and better as the weeks go on. But I'll also say this. We also stand no choice. Like, there's not another option on this roster. What are we going to put Larry Bourne out there? Like, they didn't draft an offensive tackle. Jonas Savinier is not going to play left tackle. So the Dolphins don't have a choice but to trust Patrick Paul. But I also feel relatively good about it. So I can't wait to see Patrick out there. I'm excited. Loser, Cam Smith. Cam Smith was a loser in our week 1 winners and losers minicamp or OTA list. Like, just isn't good, man. Week 1, he got torched by Jalen Waddle. Came up limping. Still was there during week 2 of OTAs, but he didn't stand out. Like, to me, we should have heard about Cam Smith because not everybody's going to be reported on, but Dolphins reporters know that the biggest thing around this football team is its cornerback room. It is. Like, who's going to be the cornerbacks with Kendall Fuller and Jalen Ramsey gone? Who's it going to be? And Cam Smith not stepping up and having a good start to the offseason programs is concerning. Storm Duck is passing him up. You could argue Storm Duck already passed him up at the end of last year. The last 4 games of the season without Kendall Fuller, the Dolphins secondary was Kader Kohu, Jalen Ramsey, and Storm Duck. And you were going to wonder if the third-year guy, Cam Smith, the former second-rounder, was going to take back his spot after getting replaced by Duck. And it started that way. Still a long way to go in the offseason with minicamp, preseason training camp, but right now, I think it's pretty safe to say that Storm Duck would be the Dolphins CB2 to whatever player they signed in free agency, whether it's a player like Gilmore, Sue Douglas, Santa Samuel Jr. Sounds like Storm Duck might be your CB2, at least as things are heading right now. All right, a couple more players to discuss here in a second, but make sure you get your Dolphins hoodies on sale at chatsports.com/Dolphins. Sale. 50% off, usually $75. Right now you get it for $32. Sizes are running out, so get yours today. One more time, chatsports.com/Dolphin sale. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Winner is a position group, and we just talked a little bit about the corners, but another big-time question mark was the Dolphins safety room. Javon Holland, Jordan Poyer not returning. You signed Ifeatu Melifonwu. You signed Ashton Davis. You re-signed Elijah Campbell, drafted Dante Trader Jr., Patrick Morris returns for his second year. Well, guess what, folks? Those 2 guys that you see pictured, Ifeatu Melifonwu and Ashton Davis, better than advertised, at least early on. Melifonwu made really good plays during week 2, intercepted Zach Wilson, and made some other good plays in coverage during the second week of OTAs. Travis Wingfield spoke on how fluid and good Ashton Davis looked at that free safety position. And then you even heard a little bit of buzz about Patrick McMorris looking solid in both team and individual drills. So you're starting to see some positive momentum for these safeties, whether it be Davis, Melifonwu, or Patrick McMorris, and that's good. Like, I know some people feel that this safety room this year is going to be better than last year's. I'm not really to say that. I know it was really bad, and I was the first one to say that. And as much as Javon Holland was up and down, I still think he was like not the worst player in football. Poyer was very up and down. We know that. But I do feel better and better as time goes on about the safety room than I did probably 3 weeks ago. So that is a good thing. Well, let me know your confidence level in the safety room. Scale 1 to 10, no rookie scores. I'd say about 3 weeks ago, my confidence in the safety room was like a 4.8. Not high. I think I've upgraded to a 5.6. Like, still a lot of question marks. Still don't know where it's going to go. But it's on the plus side of halfway, at least. So I'm going 5.6 confidence from the safety room. All right, final player we're talking about today here. Channing Tindall, loser. Just like third-round pick, never panned out. This is probably the end of his tenure with the Dolphins. I think he's going to get cut. I do. I was shocked he made the roster last year. He was the 5th linebacker behind not Tyrell Dodson, Jordan Brooks, behind David Long Jr., Anthony Walker Jr., and Duke Riley. Made it as a special teams 5th linebacker. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I don't. I'd rather have Eugene Asante, a player that we've talked about a little bit here on the channel, UDFA linebacker who ran a 4.48 40, played 6 years at college between Auburn and North Carolina. A lot of special teams value. That's what Tindall did last year. He was special teams if he was active and the 5th linebacker. If I'm keeping that position on this group, why not give me a younger, more athletic player that we just don't know more about, right? Like, we could have something there, potentially. I'm not saying that, but maybe. We know what we have in Channing Tindall. We don't know what we have in Eugene Asante. So we saw Asante have an interception during the second week of OTAs off a tip pass from Quinn Ewers. If he continues to show flashes, I really think Channing Tindall's spot on this Dolphins roster could be goodbye. But we'll continue to have you covered with everything Miami Dolphins, OTAs, minicamp, everything in between. So hit that sub button. Join us on the channel as we continue to have daily coverage of the Miami Dolphins. Barry B, another $20 super chat. Look at this guy coming in hot today. Appreciate you, Barry B. Philip Maring wore the orange jersey as well. Off the field issues of poor performance. Orange jersey doesn't mean great. Chad Henne and Josh Rosen. Listen, I'm not going to act like it means anything, Barry B. But if the coaches believe he was the standout practice performer from the day before, that's a good thing, is it not, Barry? Barry, I'm not going to act like it's the end-all, be-all, but you got to at least act like it's a good thing. No? Barry's been hurt before. Also, folks, earlier today we did a video about how the Steelers were not going to be pursuing a Jonnu Smith trade. Adam Schefter just reported that the Steelers have renewed conversations today with the Dolphins about Jonnu Smith. Yeah, let's talk. Let's ask this question before we get into our final segment. Y'all think he gets traded? Yes or no? Yeah, I mean, if Jonnu Smith gets traded, I like that Kyle Pitts Ramsey trade. I think it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Trev says no. Harrison says we need to keep him. I want to keep him. I want to keep him. We'll see. Pitts is a bust. Yeah, but he's athletic, and I think he would thrive in our system. I think he would. No, I don't think Pitts wants a new contract at all. He is entering the last year of his deal, but he doesn't deserve to get a new contract. Yeah. All right. Let's get into our final segment. I got a headache rocking. This stinks. Nothing worse than a headache just popping up out of nowhere. Lost focus at times during that video, the one we just filmed. Out of nowhere. Maybe I'm trying to pound water because I'm getting a little bit of a headache, and I don't like it one bit. All right. Final segment coming up here. We're talking Tua Tagovailoa. And I'm going to say some pretty positive things about the young man, but I'm also going to say what he needs to improve on. So I need you guys to buckle up, keep an open mind, and have some fun here as we round out our live show on this Tuesday afternoon. So without further ado, let's get into the final show. Tua Tagovailoa is more important to the Miami Dolphins than I think fans realize. Tua is one of the most divisive players in the NFL, let alone the Dolphins roster. Half the fans want him off. Half the fans stand him and believe he can be the QB1 of this team. Well, Nic Rohloff here from Dolphins Today is here to shed a positive light on Tua and how he is the man to run the Mike McDaniel offense. But I think we have to start with why people do not think highly of Tua Tagovailoa in the fan base, but also around the NFL. Well, one, he got paid a bad contract. He got paid a 4-year, $212.4 million deal, where he's getting $53.1 million AAV. That kicks in this season. First year of the deal. It goes 25, 26, 27, 28. Now, the Dolphins do have an out after 2026 where the dead cap hit is not bad. So, to me, you're practically married to Tua for the next 2 years, 25 and 2026. And then after that season, all hell can break loose. But another reason why, it's not because he's getting paid like a quarterback one, but it's because he can't stay on the football field. Over the last 4 seasons, he has played all 17 games once. That's an issue considering NFL quarterbacks get protected the most. Tua is not a mobile quarterback. He can run, he can move, but he is not a Lamar Jackson. He is not a Anthony Richardson that is just running and putting his head down, or at least he should, into players to make a play with his legs. So it's like, how is he consistently missing 4 games, 6 games? Those can't happen. Like, I get why Dolphins fans are out on Tua. He's getting paid $53+ million over the next 4 seasons, and he doesn't stay on the football field consistently. But the truth is, he is what makes this Dolphins offense very, very good. The weapons of Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Jonnu Smith help. They bring it up, yes. But it feels like the driving factor of what makes this Dolphins offense tick is Tua being healthy and on the football field. We'll show some alarming statistics here in a second. But make sure you go give us a follow on our Instagram. We're under 100 followers away from 1,000. And when we get to 1,000, we're going to do a special video. So help us get there. At Dolphins Today IG is the handle. Short form content, other content in between. Go give us a follow over there right now. One more time, Dolphins Today IG is the handle. How about this, folks? Let's look at some statistics. Miami Dolphins offense under Mike McDaniel with Tua, without Tua. So this time frame spans from 2022 to 2024, those 3 seasons when Mike McDaniel became head coach. Well, when the Dolphins have Tua at the helm of the offense, they are tied for 3rd in EPA per dropback, 3rd in pass touchdowns per attempt at 5.5%, 2nd in pass yards per attempt at 8.2, and have the 4th best completion percentage at 67.2%. Now you take a look at your right side of your screen. Because without Tua Tagovailoa, they are the worst offense in football in EPA per dropback. They are bottom 3 in pass touchdowns per attempt. They are bottom 10 in yards per attempt, and they are bottom 5 in completion percentage. Now, is Tua Tagovailoa completely to be the reason for this? Maybe. You can also blame the Dolphins for not having a backup quarterback worth anything, because in that time frame, it's been Skylar Thompson, it's been Tim Boyle, it's been Tyler Huntley. But when you think about those numbers, they don't surprise me. They don't. For better or for worse, Mike McDaniel and his offensive scheme, it's hard. It is. A lot of movement. A lot of anticipatory throws. It's not easy. It is not. And anyone who thinks every quarterback in the NFL can run the Mike McDaniel offense to the highest degree, they're fooling themselves. It takes accuracy, it takes decision-making, and the ability to get the ball out of your hands quick. And unfortunately, Tua does those things really, really well for the Tua haters out there. Does he have the ability to withstand big hits, the ability to drive the ball down the football field off platform, to be able to extend plays with his legs beyond belief? No, he's not one of those things. But he is able to execute the Mike McDaniel offense to a pretty high degree. And how about this, folks? We'll extend it outside of the Mike McDaniel 3-year 2022, 23, 24 timeframe. How about since Tua has become the starting quarterback? Miami Dolphins are 40-24. That's a 62.5% win percentage when Tua starts for them. When he misses those 20 games that he's missed in his career, 35% winning percentage since 2020, 7-13. Not here to act like Tua Tagovailoa is the reason the Dolphins win or lose. But he is, like I mentioned, one of the most driving factors of winning and losing, when he can stay on the field, when he can't stay on the field, and it's why this video is titled, Tua Tagovailoa is more important to the Miami Dolphins than fans realize. And I know some people aren't going to like that, but it's the God's honest truth, and I'm just here to present the statistics that we've seen over the past 5 years or so. Before we go any further, do you want Tua as your QB1? I stake your claim. Which side are you on? I want to know. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I am not ready to let you know how I feel on that divisive issue. I am here to tell you he needs to have a big year. If Tua Tagovailoa is not the best self he can be this year, well, then it's his second to last year. Because I truly believe, even if he were to miss games this year, struggle, and then play all 17 games and play well in 2025, or 2026, I still think the Dolphins would try to move off of Tua. This is the year that's the most important for him to cement himself as the QB1 of the future. So what does a good year look like? What is my needs? Well, the number one thing, without a question, is for him to play all 17 games. It's the most important thing. Like, if he doesn't play all 17 games, it doesn't matter to me. He misses 2 or 3 games due to injury. He could look like the MVP in those other 15 games. Or I just don't care. It's the only thing that matters. And even if the Dolphins go 8-9, they go 7-10. No, 9-8, they go 10-7. Does not matter what the Dolphins' record ultimately is. The only thing that matters to me is that Tua is on the football field for all 17 games. Because if he can't bounce back and prove to this Dolphins organization, coaching staff, front office, that he can be a guy that plays all 17 games consistently, then you need to start making preparations to find a QB of the future that can. I would actually rather Tua be bad for all 17 games than be elite for 12 and miss 5. That's how I feel about this upcoming season when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa. Another thing he needs to do is get Miami to the playoffs. Need? I think it is. I really, really do. Like, the Dolphins have not won a playoff game in 25 years. The Dolphins missed the playoffs for the first time under Mike McDaniel last season because Tua got hurt. Tua plays in all 17 games. I think he could get Miami to the playoffs. They have a pretty favorable schedule, guys. Like, I really do think they should be able to get to the playoffs. The first 6 games of the year are easy. You should be able to win the first 2 weeks of the year. Should be able to split Buffalo and New York in primetime. Should be able to beat Carolina, beat Cleveland. And if you're able to split Los Angeles and Atlanta, it's a 6-2 start to the year. You get off to a hot start and go 6-2, should be able to make the playoffs by going 4-5 in your final 9 games. Games against New Orleans, the Jets, Steelers. Should be able to go 4-5 in these 9 games. And if you go 6-2 in your first 8, which I believe should be absolutely in the cards, it's a 10-7 season, and it's likely in the playoffs. Tua plays all 17 games like I said he needs to do, and it's the number one thing I need from him. There's just no way this team isn't in the playoffs in my books. I really believe that. Because if Tua plays all 17, they'll have a top half offense. I think the defense is going to be better than people realize. And when I mean better than people realize, I'm not talking top 10, but I'm thinking anywhere between 15 and 20 in that just around average to below average range. I don't think it's going to be bottom 10. I don't think it's going to be bottom 12 or anything like that. So I think that's possible. And Tua just needs to stay healthy. It sucks that it lies all on his shoulders, but most seasons for NFL teams lie on the shoulders of their quarterback one. I think you could tell people, hey, if Josh Allen misses 6 games, we're screwed. Lamar Jackson misses 6 games, we're screwed. Patrick Mahomes misses 6 games, we're screwed. Like, unfortunately, it's just the nature of the quarterback position. Got to be there for all 17 games. Got to be there for all 17 games. All right, we're going to round out the show here in a second, but make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we're going to continue to bring you content on the daily, live shows for big news every Tuesday as well. Join the channel, subscribe today so you don't miss a thing around the Miami Dolphins. Do I think this is a need? No, because if he plays all 17 games and get the Dolphins back to the playoffs, I think he'll still probably be the QB1 of the future. But if he wants to cement himself with this fan base and eliminate all doubt, he has to end the playoff drought. It's been 25 years. The fan base will forget everything that has happened with Tua, his missed games, his shortcomings, his injury history. Those will all be forgotten by the fan base if he gets a playoff win. If he wins the division, if he's a wild card guy and goes on the road and beats a Baltimore, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Kansas City, Houston, whoever wins the South. If he's able to go on the road and win a playoff game, that will be massive for his place in the future of this organization. And I'll be honest, I think a new quarterback is coming if these things don't happen. If he does not play all 17 games, a new quarterback is coming. If he does not get the Dolphins to the playoffs, I think a new quarterback is coming. I mentioned if he gets to the playoffs, he plays all 17 games. I don't know if he will be pushed out right away, but the writing will be on the wall. He needs to do at least 2 of these 3 things. Now, if he plays in 14 games, the Dolphins still make the playoffs, and he gets a win, I think he stays too. But 2 of these 3 things happen, and Tua is going to be here, I think, for the foreseeable future. Let's do this crystal ball time. I think this is a fun way to round out the show. Will Tua be the quarterback in 2027? And I'm going 2 years in advance because of what I said off the top of the show, where you can get out of his contract after 2026. So, if he doesn't work out, he'll be gone off the roster in 2027. But what say you? 1 for yes, 2 for no. I say no. My gut says no. Unfortunately, there's nothing that I want more. other than for Tua to be able to pull off those things, because that means the Dolphins are in the playoffs and they're winning playoff games. But I just don't think he'll be able to do it, man. Unfortunately, I do not. It sucks that our quarterback has this much of a question mark around him in terms of his health and his ability to win big games on the road in these tough weather games. But it's the truth, and it stinks. It really, really stinks. All right, I'll round out today's show. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us here on this edition of Dolphins Today. Make sure you do follow us over on Instagram. Dolphins Today IG is my handle, our handle, short form content, and everything in between. You want coverage on the Dolphins in between our YouTube shows? Well, that's where you can find it. So go follow right now. All right. That's going to do it. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Appreciate Barry B for the $70 in Super Chats. You guys, you're awesome, man. Shout out to Barry. Hopefully you have a safe flight. Barry saying yes to a guy. Appreciate you. You're a legend, Barry. You're a legend, man. Appreciate the support. You guys make what we do so much fun. People like you, Barry. People like Nathan, Harrison, flooding the chat. You guys have been awesome today. I wish I could stay and maybe hang out a little bit more with you guys on this Tuesday afternoon, but I've got a headache and I need to get out of here. I just do. My head's killing me. Barry B is the most optimistic Dolphins fan I know. He was, even when the season was going awry last year, he was still feeling good about where things were heading. So salute to you on that, my friend. But with that being said, that's going to do it for this live show. Appreciate Lopez for hanging out with producing with us. Appreciate everybody who tuned in throughout the chat. Liked, comment, subscribe. Barry for donating. Jonathan Soto for donating. You guys are the best. See you guys next Tuesday with a live show. See you with videos in between. Peace out, folks.